This is your Tuesday, June 10th forecast discussion update for Alabama. We'll start with some Alabama weather headlines. Northern Alabama gets a chance to dry out. Historic rains in May, continued rain and storms in early June. It'll be nice to have a bit of a reprieve. Storms look to linger in the southern half of the state, Wiregrass all the way over to Mobile, that I-65 South corridor. Once you get below, say, Montgomery, US 80. The overall pattern going forward looks very summer-like. And we could have a higher heat index value by the weekend. That's your feels like or that perceived temperature. So let's dive into it here. Let's start with the composite radar look here this morning. And again, we still have that boundary in place. It's draped from roughly just south of Atlanta, a Peachtree City area, back towards, say, Clanton, and the boundary less defined as you get over towards Mississippi. But that has kind of been the source of a few showers that have popped up in northeastern Alabama. Should not be long lasting, and those will be winding down here soon. I show this just to kind of make a point of how we're less active. I'm not sure why we have a marginal risk here today, to be honest. Maybe because that frontal boundary is still in place. They think a little extra lifting mechanism could yield some potentially stronger thunderstorms, but I don't really see that coming to fruition. I think much of central and northern Alabama is dry. Better chances of rain come in the southern half of the state here later today. This is a look at rain chances later this afternoon off the NDFD. This is basically taking a look at the probabilistic of having rain in any given area. And very low, 15 to 25% from Birmingham and points to the south. Once you get down to Montgomery in the southern half of the state, that chance goes to about 40 to 55%. The highest potentials down in Mobile and Baldwin, Escambia counties, and then the Florida Gulf Coast. As we head through the day, that's where that boundary will still be to the north of. Better lifting mechanisms along that particular stretch. So let's go to the upper air look here. And I like to do this just to kind of show what's happening overall. This time of year, the jet stream is well to the north, and it does not play a huge role in our forecast. However, you can occasionally get these little eddies in the atmosphere here, and you can actually depict a low pressure, a little upper low here. Circle it so you can see. That would be right here. There's your upper low. You got your circulation around it. And that'll be coming through central Texas by Wednesday afternoon. You got a weak upper high, which will keep our winds, at least for the time being, out of the north, and that will suppress convective activity for a lot of the southeast on Wednesday. Let's move ahead to Thursday. That low still spinning over in Texas, Oklahoma. Again, potentially the source of showers and thunderstorms across the Ark-La-Tex region, along into the west of the Mississippi Delta. And then you see that low kind of tracks off to the north and east. You've got this shortwave trough here, and that'll probably be the source of showers and thunderstorms late in the week in that part of the country. And, as we get into the weekend, our rain chances do certainly come back, not to an organized extent, but we will have those pop-ups from time to time. And turning warmer here, you can see by the height values. You see those darker oranges. That's coinciding with higher heights. The higher atmospheric heights indicate that it's a warmer air mass beneath. Warm air is expanded. It's a more, I guess, when you have a cooler air mass beneath, it's more dense, so it takes up less space. Warmer air expands, it presses the atmosphere upward, and those higher heights usually mean there's warmer air beneath, and that's what we will see likely as we head towards the weekend. All right, let's go to some modeling here. This is a look at the HER. We will go walk through the day today, and for much of our Tuesday, we're rain-free across Alabama. Could we see an isolated shower or storm? Yes, with that boundary still in place. I don't think coverage will be especially great, and most of us end up staying dry. By 10 o'clock, there might be a cluster of shower storms across southeast Alabama, south central Alabama, and that'll quickly be fizzling as we lose daytime heating. We go into Wednesday now, dry. Statewide, say an isolated shower over the bay in Mobile, right along the coast there from Dauphin Island over to Gulf Shores. But most of central Alabama is dry. You get to Wednesday afternoon, and the threat for some thunderstorms really will fall right along US 80 from a line, say, Demopolis, York, back towards Montgomery, and over to Columbus. Could a few of these drift up into central Alabama? Sure. But if you're I-20 and points north, I don't really think we have a chance of rain through Wednesday evening. The cluster of showers and storms will be focused in southern Alabama, with a few of those getting up as far north as the I-20 corridor, including Birmingham, Anniston, and Tuscaloosa through Wednesday. So extended period here will start Thursday morning. This is a look at the global model, the European 10-kilometer North American. And what you'll notice here is, of course, it's a lower resolution, but this is going to be picking up on those convective type thunderstorms. Thursday afternoon, again, the focus in the southern half of the state. By Friday, that threat becomes much more widespread. We'll start to see that all the way up towards the Tennessee Valley into the Ark-La-Tex region. Remember that low that we talked about, that's going to generate widespread convective activity across the Mississippi Delta and areas to the west, including Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. For us, it'll be scattered in nature, not raining all day, but if you have outdoor plans Friday evening, we could certainly have a downpour. Saturday as well, same deal with that upper low and that trough just to our west. We'll likely see scattered showers and thunderstorms. Pretty decent coverage here, at least the European model is depicting that. So we may see our rain chances, our coverage rise a little bit on Saturday. Should we not, heat index factors will be a thing to talk about over the weekend. We'll cover that in just a second. But this is a summertime pattern. You know, these are all convectively driven with a little help from that trough to the west. But once we lose daytime heating, showers, storms fizzle. They re-fire in the afternoon again on Sunday. We will have rain on the map every single day from Friday into early next week. It doesn't necessarily mean it'll rain at your house, but it may rain at your neighbors, vice versa, through the extended forecast period through Sunday evening. Again, showers and storms very much possible here across the state. So look at the high temperatures. This is Wednesday. We're in the upper 80s in much of northern Alabama, 90 in Tuscaloosa and Demopolis. Southeast Alabama might be held in check with those afternoon thunderstorms that could keep us just a little bit cooler. But in general, our highs are 86 to the lower 90s, 92, 93 through the period. Let's look at the highs on Thursday. Again, some 90s creeping into northern and central Alabama, scattered throughout the state, very normal for this time of year. So moisture levels. I've tried to kind of depict where moisture levels are highest. So these are dew points, and a dew point is a measure of temperature, but also moisture. The higher that number is, the more uncomfortable and oppressive it will feel. Where you're seeing the darker greens, that's a dew point of about 74 or greater. Where you're seeing the lighter greens, that's 65 to about 70, and 70 to 74 in that lighter green. The point is, once you get above that 70 level, it starts to feel really oppressive, and we'll see our moisture levels climbing as we head towards the weekend, and that's going to contribute to a higher heat index value as we move forward. So let's go to our heat index as we approach the weekend. Some of this will be determined off of when and where we see the rain. If we get the rain, that obviously knocks our heat index down. But you'll see here Friday afternoon, without the presence of rain, our heat index is easily 95, and that's really anywhere in the state. So that feels like temperature will be approaching summer-like levels over the weekend. Of course, when we have the rain, that knocks it down, but I do think any periods where we don't have rainfall, it's going to feel like we're 95 or so anywhere in Alabama with those higher moisture levels, and our temperatures stay summer-like here through the forecast period. So how about the 8 to 14 day outlook? This goes through Tuesday, June 24th, so this is the latter half of the month, and all signs point to slightly at or above average temperatures for the southeast. That would typically mean we have a ridge in place, and that is fairly common this time of year. When you have a ridge in place, most of our thunderstorms, our rain threat comes from convective activity, the popping up of showers and thunderstorms throughout the afternoon and evening, and that will likely be the trend with no organized frontal systems moving through here. You get to late June, and it's tough to get a front south of the Ohio Valley with this warm air mass in place. So how about a look at the WPC rain outlook? And this is a very standard forecast for the summertime, depicting rain totals over a 7-day period of a half inch all the way up to an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches at the highest. And understand, any individual location could be higher than that. You get a heavy downpour, and that can certainly contribute to localized higher rain totals. And you can't depict convective activity on a model like this. You just can't. It's like if you ever boil a pot of water on the stove trying to figure out where that first bubble is going to pop up in the water. The atmosphere works a similar way. So we can depict a general area where convection will be highest, but those individual rain totals are tough. What this tells me is there's no organized rain moving through, and all of our rainfall accumulation will come from those pop-up thunderstorms. So we're well into June now. 10 days in, early in the tropical season, the Atlantic hurricane season. All is quiet across the Caribbean, the Gulf, the Atlantic. No signs of development here in the short term. In fact, the NHC's outlook, if we do a slow pan here all across the Atlantic basin, there is no development expected over the next 7 days. Pretty common for June. This is very early in the season, and we don't typically see things developing. Of course, last year Beryl was an outlier, forming in late June, the strongest earliest Category 5 and strongest to form at that time of the year, so hoping to not have a repeat of that. So with that in mind, heading to the beach, obviously no tropical threats here. However, there will be the threat of rain each and every day. Do not let this deter you, okay? If you've been to the beach, it's its own microclimate. I used to live down in Dothan, and we go down to the beach, and we would drive through torrential downpours along I-10. You get south of I-10, down near Highway 98, and all of a sudden the sun would come out. So yes, rain is possible over the next 7 days from Dolphin Island all the way over to Mexico Beach, but it will not be a washout by any means. This is a typical summertime pattern, and it will hold as such through the forecast period. So that's a wrap of your forecast here on this Tuesday morning. Hopefully you guys have a great day. We'll have another update tomorrow. And if anything changes to the forecast, we'll be sure to bring that to you as well. Hope you all have a great day, enjoying summertime, and enjoy a little bit of a break from the rain and severe weather. See y'all.